Let's give it a try. The camera didn't want to work. The machine wasn't working properly. Morning, guys. Morning, all. I did start up a game stream yesterday, and the camera was working and everything else was working, but I restarted the computer this morning. So, how's the mic volume? Good. Multiple internal errors. That's what I need to start with. Nice. Okay. Thank you very much. So it feels like a long time since I streamed because it was last Tuesday. Yeah, because we only managed one stream last week because Monday I woke up late, wasn't feeling it, rushing to get the stream in, and then Wednesday I was traveling, so yeah. I've decided, as much as I would be tempted to, starting up dev streams on the weekend is something I shouldn't do, so I'm going to avoid weekend dev streams as much as I can. For no other reason than just keeping that schedule. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get that. So the last couple of days, I sleep my computer normally. Hi, important guy. How you doing? Um, the last couple of days, though, I've come down in the morning and the fans have just been going 100%, and the computer won't come back from sleep. So I've got a feeling I might be replacing some parts soon. Probably the fans if it keeps doing this. I need to open that one first. I'm just running my Docker scripts. I don't need to stress about them parts. Services down. Open. Liquid sky. Open. Project Nest. Liquid sky. Scripts. Docker. Where are you? There you go. You there. Got services up. Okay. Dota, thank you very much for the resub, by the way. Why didn't that show? It didn't show on there, and it didn't show on there, but it does show on the activity feed. So thank you very much. Ah, huh. Didn't show in chat at all for me though. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Okay, so some changes happened over the weekend. Um, So what I've decided to do is um, break out the application a little bit, or break down the application a little bit. And the way I'm doing that is I'm taking what was shared kernel, or is still shared kernel, but shared kernel is now broken out with the messaging components into what I've referred to as foundation. So foundation is actually its own repo now. And the reason I've done that is because with Mojo's help, I'm going to start the management backend of this application. Um, so Mojo is going to help me with building that part um, in his spare time whenever it suits. Just being able to see the tenants and do all that sort of stuff, start to get a structure in place for the actual management aspect of the application. But with no rush on that part, no fuss on that part. I can still proceed with everything else. But to support that, what we did is I broke the application into three components. The first component, Liquid Sky, is still the application as you see it. It's going to no changes there. But the foundation, the shared kernel and the messaging, etc., are broken out into their own repository. So you'll see when I go up here now, you'll see Foundation and Liquid Sky. So this is included here because Foundation is here, and I've added tracking of that repository, so I can branch and work with both of these, even though they're both in one solution, which is a nice feature. Nope, it's not a Git submodule. It's its own repository. I'm just able to manage it through Rider. So I didn't want to mess around with submodules and get myself into a mess. So they are independent. So if worst comes to worst, I work on this independently in its own solution and this. Yeah, so two separate repos. But Rider is smart enough to know that if they are in lockstep, there is a way of getting it so that Rider will actually, when you go to branch one, it'll branch both. Like if they're both on development, I can say branch both at the same time or whatever. And I can also commit at the same time. So if there's changes in both, I want to make them all part of one commit message. I can put the same commits in both because they're both showing here as well. So it's a nice a nice workflow so far. And Mojo and I went back and forth for several hours trying to figure that part out. So the other part of that is the management piece, which once we get something in there, we'll start demonstrating that as well. And Mojo's free to stream any of that if he wants to. And there's no rush for that, but yeah. So just wanted to explain the foundation now is what was in the shared as shared kernel and messaging. That's now foundation, and it is its own repo. I can manage it in here. I can build it in here. Liquid Sky is building off it. The unit tests in GitHub are uh, so we still got a bit of work to do to this because it needs to try and pull um, it needs to try and pull the matching branch if it exists, but we did modify the workflow. So now the workflow will actually it will actually check out foundation as well and build foundation as part of Liquid Sky's unit test run. So all the unit tests for Liquid Sky still pass because they're based upon foundation libraries. There's a little bit more work because we've got to do this right now. We'll pull the development branch, which is fine, except if I push another branch like I've done here, I need to pull my branch name. So that's why those tests are failing. So I got a bit more work to do there. So this piece I'm working on right now. What I want to do is be able to show um, that I am subscribed to an item, which is a little easier said than done. So when I click the little icon to say, yeah, I care about this entity, I need to be able to see that I'm subscribed to that entity so that when I go back in there, I know that, I am subscribed, and then I can implement unsubscribe. So in notifications now publishes an integration event for the entity subscription created. Actually, yeah, an entity subscription integration event. So now this entity is subscribed. Yeah, by this subscriber. Yeah. So that now publishes out. On the receiver end, on the view end, I'm going to receive that entity subscription receiver, and I'm going to capture that on the integration events, update subscribed entity, and that's just going to track, yep, this person is subscribed. Sorry? Great. I now have that. Let's have a look at data grip. This window. Benefit and cursor switching back and forth. So now subscribed entities would be a table where I have ID, subscriber ID, entity type, entity identifier, because again, this when it registers that, it goes and acquires the user, and then we'll do this. So great. I can now tell if a user subscribed to something. But then I had a thought, how do I do that in the view? How do I tell a user that they are subscribed to an entity without breaking GraphQL? So if I do something like this, right? Let's do that the other way. The no subscriber exists. Let's take let's take entity type, planning item, that one, subscriber ID 1. Okay, let's take that. Users subscriber ID, PI identifier, subscriber ID, users 2. Let's do it that way. There you go. So Jeffrey's subscribed to this item. But if I introduce another record, this is another planning item, and I take user 1005. Right, now I get duplicate records in here because that's that. So if I modify my view, then I'm going to return a ton more data. Because I'm going to join subscribed entities and get the users. So every time a subscription exists for an item, that's bad. So what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to figure out is, when do I need that information? And where do I use it? So what I could do is take and I could kind of transform these, right? Because these don't have to be in this way. I think there's an async version of that, isn't there? What I need to do is keep them as iQueryable, because otherwise I'm not going to get any of the projection stuff in there. But I'm going to have to create a modified version of these. I know the user in this instance, right? So if I take, well, it's not so much an include statement, it's a transformed version of this, because planning item itself doesn't have, because it's a, from the user perspective, is one to many. From planning items, there can be many users attached. But if I'm running this query as me, I kind of want this attached, and I want to be able to say, "Yep, I'm the subscriber. I subscribe to this." So I don't need the name. I just need, it would essentially be is null um, u.id. That should be subscriber, right? Essentially. 01 is subscribed, right? So it needs something like that. It is no function requires 2 items. It's no 0. I I don't want that. Yeah. Um, uh, I'll do for now. Yeah. However, that's not really what I want to write anyway, but it doesn't really matter. The point is that these would be subscribed, right? Now, what would actually happen would be, I'd attach where where take you through this. How do I actually want to do this? I don't want to do where subscriber ID. I still want the planning item. This planning item I really mean to the user without the user's table attached. Well, the planning items, the way that I'm pulling it right now is a view. What I need to know is the user that's currently asking for this data a subscriber to this data? That's what I'm attaching. So it's not part, if I pull that as part of the view, then the view is going to grow massively. So I have the created by and assigned to user, but this is, am I subscribed to it? Which is not a created by or assigned to. And there could be many subscribers, right? So if I do that, this table will grow, or this view will grow. I don't want it to grow in that way. So what I'm thinking about is the attachment that I do to it here to pull that information out, right? So ultimately, I'm going to create a transformed version of this. Right, but the problem is I need to pull all the planning items. I don't want the client to transfer. That's what I'm trying to see if I can avoid the client transforming it. Kind of like I want to say from the view, select that, and for each record, am I subscribed? So I kind of essentially I want to do this. Select from users. Where and subscriber dot identifier equals my identifier. So like that. So the on the UI, you need a list of subscribed planning items. What's the output as well? Well, the problem is the reason I thought about doing that. So I thought about getting subscribed entities for this user, which I could do, right? I could say, okay, authorize is don't need protection for that one. Public async task subscribed entity. Get subscribed entities. Don't forget, this is the GraphQL piece, right? And I could return that here. And then on the client, as I look at an item, I could look in that list and say, oh, does my identifier exist in this list? Yeah, it does. Okay, you subscribe to that. I just felt that would be a little bit more complicated. And have a list of data on the client that's basically just a list of identifiers that I have to match up every time I look at this if I want to know that it's subscribed. Whereas if I could figure out a transformation essentially of the planning item query, so I'd have to create a new model, right? I'd have to create a version of this model that takes the planning item and adds is subscribed. But yeah, by the user looking at them. Ultimately, I might want to know the list of users that are subscribed to a planning item, but that would be a different query entirely. That's for certain. Because that'd be not right this second. User A just needs to see that user A. Wow, wow, that's fun. Deny, deny. Wow. You know what? The the Twitch um mod view is way better than the Twitch dashboard for stuff like that. I thought that user had been banned. But the mod view allows me to instantly report that user from the mod as a batch action, right? But the dashboard doesn't allow me to do that. Spam. The interesting thing is there that Twitch, the Twitch dashboard blocked that message twice, and then the third time let it through. Seems like planning item needs subscribed usernames. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. And I can do that. I can do that. You are. Thank you, daughter. You are not wrong. So if I do it this way, so off the view planning item object, right? So again, there's two planning item. So right now, subscribed entity lives inside of just the tables because it is only a table. There's no view representation of it. The view has a planning item. Public, virtual, INumerable, subscribed entity, subscribers, right? You're not wrong. Because now I can just do where subscribers. If I do it this way, I can just do where subscribers um, contains me. I still have to do a transform, but it's much easier than that. View infrastructure, configuration, view, planning item. Builder dot as many. I'm Don't know how many is that one. I got a new keyboard. I'm having a lot of side pain in my right arm, my elbow, and my wrist. And I'm not getting used to this keyboard very. Has many subscribers. With many. Problem here is this is a really weird join because it's a table that's can I do this? No. Hey, Mr. Van Horn, how you doing? One. Good. Do this elsewhere. Hold on. There's one polygon with many requirements. Has one polygon with many projects. Doing good. Glad the crazy week is over. Had 2 new employees and quarter all hands, and I'm at home. It was an exhausting week. Woohoo! Builder that has one. So the challenge here is this does not have the navigational property back because this table is a generic thing. So they only match when that has a planning item. So I need to figure out how to represent that join as many subscribers with one. It's got to be possible. It's to p dot identifier dot as foreign key p new p dot from what I know about link. Will that work? This is easy to test because if it works, I can start GraphQL up. I can start the API gateway up. I can log in, and then I can use banana cake pop to get that information. Chrome. Feeling. State 500. Yeah. We did a restart. No, let's do offload first. Save that. Let's create Kafka configuration. That's that. That's that. That's that. Oh, we're working. I didn't lose a database because it's all here. F12. 500. Are you serious? It's going to be one of them days. Cheap viewers. At least Cerebot caught that one for me. Local storage. There you go. That's better. Body access token. Copy value. Okay, so let's start banana cake pop. Yeah, sure. Session. And then let's go here. Like that. Refresh that. Please make sure you're connected to the internet. Yeah, I'm pretty much sure I'm connected to the internet. Come on. Let's restart GraphQL and see if it helps. Oh, that's interesting. Microphone had come loose. Okay, so sending it. Okay, that's no. Click on details to find more. It's just erroring. Oh, that's better. The name user was already registered by another time. That's the name user was already registered by another time. You can join a table. Infrastructure view type configuration, user type. Right. I didn't change anything else there. Changes the program, right? Yeah, that's all good. So we did learn that GraphQL, or that rather Hot Chocolate, does actually do a lot of code generation and does a lot of its usings in part of code generation rather than actually importing everything at the top of the page, which is interesting. So it creates global usings for everything. Okay, so builder type initializer, create schema async, type registry register, view domain entities user. Okay, so we have a genuine problem with Hot Chocolate. What? Chocolate, GraphQL, type was already registered by the type. Wow. You can add the GraphQL annotation onto the student class. I don't want to add the GraphQL annotation on. That's not the point. Okay, so student has been using query and command projects. Startup, I've configured GraphQL like this. Student query. Right, add student mutation service. Right, but it's not being used in multiple. I don't get why. I don't get why my change there. Seems like an easy test. Let's restart that. Tech type capabilities. I don't get it. The name user was already registered by another type. Have I just managed to collide? But users registered there. Users there. Users there. Am I not declaring something properly? Or do I have to declare? Let's say we have to, because hold on, there's 6 there. Attachment project. Hold on. Attachment project. Type of change type. Right. Let's create just for the simplicity of it, let's create a subscribed entity type. I don't believe this is necessary. Then we override configure. Move that. It's not the right entity type. Oh, dude. No. GraphQL stop. Program. Type of subscribed entity. Like, I'm wondering if it's just because I've not really declared it before. That looks like it might have been it. So now I get planning items. We should. Oh, still presentable. Okay. Name user was already registered. It's not a remote schema. There's nothing to do with that. I don't have multiple query types. But I'm not merging anything. So inheritance. That's normal, it seems. Well, of course it is. It's warning me that I'm not in. It's marked as virtual because Entity Framework creates a proxy class around it and does all the navigational stuff. But okay, so that's normal. That's fine. Mojo, hello, good morning. It's not like I created any sort of weird circular reference though. Projections deals with the include, so I don't need to do it explicitly. And break is going to start in 3 minutes. Okay, let's rule out some behavior. Do that. Let's rule out this. I'm pretty sure it is this, but it shouldn't be. No, still in the same problem. Okay, so it's not that. Awesome. Leave, I changed anything here. Grade them just in case. Latest version and all. This story is an example of a story that seems like a relatively simple thing because all I want to do is in the UI, I want to show a little icon to say, this is subscribed by me. But I can't do that because I need a little bit more complicated schema. Yeah, see, it's still failing. The name user was already registered by another type. View domain is. Oh, no. That's the problem. Subscribed entity has a user. That user is. Oh, I'm an idiot. In this case, I'm an idiot. I didn't see it, and it's right in front of me. This user here, because this subscribed entity is in the regular tables view. There's no need to create a view of subscribed entities. Right? Because there's no usable view for it. So this user on subscribed entity is a user. On planning item, that user is this user, the view user, not the regular user, because they look slightly different. Right? Most of the same, but they do look slightly different. Oh dear, sorry. This user doesn't have the tenant user but this user is the tenant user kind of combined. So it's not the same user. So that's why that's failing. Because now user is registered twice. So if I remove that subscribed entity type from here, that'll be fine. The messy thing is it's a table, but I want to treat it kind of like a view. So if I proceed here, how do I do that? Let's validate that using view user equals view domain entity.view user. It'll still work because the view user here does have the ID. So now that is view user. Let's test that. So I'm not trying to use the user multiple times. Yep, there you go. So let's stop the GraphQL piece. Go put that planning item behavior back over here. So Mojo story 1. And I've already hit the issue of the cross build on Foundation Liquid Sky branching. I'm gonna have to fix that later because the unit tests fail. Yeah, because I added a new event type which needed changes to Foundation. So Foundation had a new event added for integration for the entity subscription. But now the build on the GitHub side fails because it's pulling development. Okay, so let's refresh that. Do you still work? Yes, you do. So now when I get to planning items, do I get subscribers? Yes, I do. So we should be able to do subscribers ID. That's wrong. So that subscriber. Yeah, okay. Name. Does this work? That's kind of what I did. Is not a valid member access. Simple property of field access. That's what I was doing. This might need to be a little bit more complicated than this. I don't think I can. I don't think I can quite have it as generic because I need to do something with the view. Unless I can create a view. So let's start from subscribe entities se where se dot entity type equals planning item. So we do se.id, se, then we do join. Do we need to join the subscribers? No. We just need set identifier. Yeah, we have a view. We do have a view. So the view would be planning item subscriptions. New view. Planning item subscriptions. This way we can use the same core table and get rid of that horrible need to have a navigation property there. Okay, so we can do generate DDL to clipboard, go down to scripts, view, views, 008, planning item subscriptions, view.sql. Oh, puppy. Hello. Okay. So this isn't necessary now because this is so what we do here is we'll create an object in yes planning item subscription, and this is public int. I'll public long ID public GUID. Actually, do I want? I don't need that, do I? I can do. I can. I can make this a little easier. Join planning items PI on PI dot identifier equals SE dot identifier SE dot entity identifier. So that can be as subscription ID. This could be PI dot ID as planning item ID. Now this view's starting to become a little bit more flexible. So this is subscription ID. This is int planning item ID. Click virtual planning item. Planning item. We don't need. It's a view item, so we don't need to link back to the subscription. So now the planning item here has a planning item subscription. Yeah, subscriptions is better. We probably do need the user then, there, don't we? Yeah. So I am deliberately not trying to think about what I might need or what I want. I'm trying to evolve it because I don't want to I've already overthought this. But it is an idea. It is an example of. I'm just all I want to do here is show an icon, a solid when you're subscribed and empty when you're not. So when you click it, we can mark it as solid when we get the confirmation back, and then when you go back and refresh, you'll see the solid icon. That's what we're aiming for. So it's a very simple feature from the outset, but the things this has had to touch to be able to do that. So we've had to introduce new subscriptions, a new event notifications. So we've had to wire in code to push an event when you change something. Oh, have fun. No worries. So we need to do join users view on view dot ID, and let's do it the same. I do it from see join planning items on view dot ID equals se dot subscriber ID. This would be user ID. Actually, we don't need to join. PI. No, SE. Generate DDL. Yeah, okay. So we need subscriber ID on there as well. Planning item subscription, public int subscriber ID, and public virtual user subscriber. That can link to this view subscriber. That's perfectly fine because that'll work. And now we get all the behavior. Okay, so this is starting to make a little bit more sense. We don't need that. We don't need a navigation property here at all because this table should never be navigated. This specific object shouldn't actually be used for navigation. So now we have has many subscriptions. That's foreign key planning item ID. And that's enough now because subscription is a planning item thing. We don't need that anymore. So we don't need that anymore. Is it build? I'm missing something, but I don't know what yet. If you are new to the stream, you're not just hanging out. If you do have questions, you're more than welcome to ask them. I'm just going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Okay. See if we can get this up and running. So we should now no longer have an issue with the. Okay. So this should be subscriptions. And we should be able to have subscriber. And we should be able to have name. Oh. The entity type upon subscription requires the primary key to be defined. So close. We're so close. So planning item view. Let's add planning item subscription. Oh, I did configuration. I did all sorts of wrong stuff there. I also need to be consistent here because I keep saying actually I was actually consistent. Entity type configuration of planning item subscription builder dot to view planning item subscriptions. I don't think I put the word. Did I put the word? That's a good point. I did call it view. Oh, I should have called it view. Planning item subscriptions view. Let's go make sure I do. Before I forget. No. Script, CDL to clipboard. Modify view. Oh, interesting. Generate DDL to clipboard. It refuses to put the view there. Interesting. Okay. Either way, has key subscription ID. There you go. We also need to add it to the view DB context as well. So that's public DB set, planning item subscription. There you go. Now let's start that up again. Try once more. Ah. My mat has slid to the point where my chair won't sit properly on it, so I keep rolling off to the left. So, okay, so let's do that. The relationship from planning item subscriptions to planning item subscriptions with foreign key properties planning item ID cannot target the primary key identifier. As a drop off for work, appreciate the stream, enjoy your day. Apex, thank you very much. Have a great day. See you again soon. I think at this point I'm not trying to rush this, but I'm trying to get through this. That's probably not helping me. So we have planning item subscriptions. Don't need that one. That's foreign key. With that's principal key. P goes to P dot identifier has foreign key. Let's name this properly. No. But it should be on the prime. It should be on the with one. Hold on. So what I've been doing so far is like project planning item inbox, associate attachments has one planning item with many attachments. So I've kind of gone the other direction, right? So I've done has one with many. P goes to P dot subscriptions. That's how I've done it so far. I believe you can tackle them in multiple directions. So okay. Invalid colon name planning item identifier. Where did I have planning item identifier? Select from planning items view, user view associated, planning items inscriptions view, planning item identifier. Oh, planning item subscription. Hey, Yukiduki, how you doing? So I don't remember. Select name, subscription ID, planning item identifier from planning item subscriptions view, inner join users view, subscribe ready. That's interesting. Ads in 3 minutes. I don't have many. So several of my commands, I don't have many bots running because bots aren't something that I spend a lot of time with. And the ones that are running don't work, it seems. So I need to spend some time on bot stuff. But followage, I don't know. But you've been here since May. How's your week going? Or how's your week starting? I don't get why planning item identifier there. Planning item view. Of P0. Well, there's a navigation property gone weird somewhere. So planning item subscription has a planning item, but they're all primary. These should just work. Builder dot has one. S goes to S dot subscriber with many. Yeah, there's no navigational property back there, so that's fine. And either way, it's planning items that it's worried about. The planning item has no need for a complicated join, so why are they doing that? Oh, this thing is just trying to test me today. Why are you referencing planning item identifier? I don't get it. Invalid column name planning item. So, okay, let's simplify this. Let's run that. Do I get planning items back? Yes, I get planning items. So let's do subscriptions. Subscriber name. Invalid column planning item identifier. Again, planning item subscriptions view does not have planning item identifier. It has not had planning item identifier. To view has key subscription, that's fine. Planning item subscription. Oh wow, that's quite a drop of views. So the ViewDB context has planning item subscriptions here, that's fine. Has one planning item with many subscriptions. That's good. Now, the subscription here, the planning item subscription, has a primary key of planning item ID. So the navigation property here should assume planning item ID is its key and it matches to the key of the thing. That's an internal of entity framework. Subscriber knows that the user is going to, this and this are going to match, and therefore the ID represents the primary key of this table. And this is a subscription ID. But I don't see where, I mean, I could, if I look for that column, it's not going to do me any good because it's just going to be wrong. Join T and P identifier equals T dot planning. So, but as T, so this left join, unless planning items view doesn't have, planning items view doesn't have the ID. The primary key is the identifier. We need public int ID. We need to modify the view. Yeah, modify view. We need pi.id. And we'll do some extra changes around that in a second. Okay, so that picked up. So the primary key that is going to be ID. This is going to break some other stuff now. So what was happening there was it was taking the primary key and assuming it's going to match, and it really wasn't, because it was looking for planning item identifier. It's going to take, oh, well, it's identifier on this table, therefore it must be planning item identifier. That must be the implicit primary key link, but I'm using the internal IDs. So what I do there is on the configuration here, I tell this to ignore that. So then GraphQL won't offer the ID as a field. I don't want that internal value presented. Hey, Deflux, how you doing? This is going to break everything else now because I'm pretty sure the others are now linked by identifiers and not by IDs. And I'm going to have broken my other views. But we'll find out in a second. Invalid column name, planning item ID, yeah. So let's stop that running. Okay. Yeah, associated attachments view. What if I associated projects view? I can fix this. See, that one works now about, but the others don't. So actually, I could have tested that. I could have validated that just fine by doing this. Because projections are on, it's only going to run the SQL that it needs to run. So I can avoid the other things. So I can do that. There you go. So there's 2 subscribers to this planning item. That might still cause quite a problem. I probably don't want to include subscriptions on the front page version of this. So let's do this. Let's figure out. Yeah. Attachments. So attachments is going to be joined in a similar way. So associated attachments has ID as planning item identifier. It does not have planning item ID. So we probably want to modify that view at this point. Which is okay. We don't need to, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Associated attachments, modify the view. We don't need that. We need p.id as planning item ID. That's better. How is your Monday starting, Duplex? Well, I hope. Associated attachments. So we got that. So now that will join properly. Let's see. It should just work if I've swapped it out. Let's go make sure I keep the tables up to date, otherwise that's going to be a problem. I'm so close to applying for a new job. Ugh. There you go, attachments. Sorry to hear that. Just not going like you would want, I'll assume. Well, sometimes I'm a bit dramatic, but I took the mistake. I'm working on my side project. Weekend. Yeah, same problem. I certainly feel that. No, back on looking. It's good. It's like every line is a disaster. I get that. You know, when you're working on your own stuff, you have a lot more control. Everything feels right because you've worked in it. It's it's a very comfortable thing. Working in any code base with other people is always a challenge, and sometimes the code base isn't in the greatest of shapes. Oftentimes, actually, mainly because of years worth of development, years worth of you know ups and downs. You know, ticket that they want, and there's like no connection between what the ticket says and what the code is. Yeah, associate projects. So we need to do the same here. In calling item ID, we need to go to the view, associate projects view, modify view. This needs to be that. We don't need identifiers here at all. Because we can join back and get the associated project if we were going to present a projects view and show all associated planning items, which we wouldn't want to do off this one, but okay, so that fixes that. Script. Yeah, I mean, Tesla is considering Rider, by the way. Who's convinced him to do that? Not you, I would assume. Associated projects view. Okay. Let's restart that one. Planning item ID. We want to ignore ID columns. We don't want to expose them down to the client. Identifiers are fine, but yeah. Start it up. There we go. So projects. And we can do prefix still. That'll work fine now. Once it joins, it'll be fine. So we got projects. We got anything else? Primarily the collections that are going to join in the ID. So projects, requirements, attachments, and subscriptions are pretty much it. So I think we're good as far as that goes. That's perfectly fine. So now on the view side of things, there we go. We have our display again. Go back to home, our display. That's a little worrying. Yep, something's breaking when it pulls the extra information. So that will be stores, services, planning item service. So that should still work. So identifier. So ID is identifier. ID identifier. Attachments identify. Yeah, that's still working. It's all working. So what's going wrong on the client? I mean, that's a pretty much useless error, but Definitely error in there. How do I diagnose that one? Because that's not in my code. Okay. Zone.js object then async unnotified subscription. That's not my code. I mean, that would get that would be detail. So that would be fetch one. That would be this one. So let's query this and see what happens. Get planning item by ID. That's going to be invalid column name, planning item ID. There we go. Interesting. It worked, but it didn't work. Requirements. Did it not change requirements? No. Int. You know that time when I said I checked all the collections? I clearly hadn't. I was clearly lying and making it up. So requirements. So in the views, requirements view. Yeah, that'll be that. We need ID. ID there. Okay, that one. Now I'm thinking through this, it does make more sense to do it this way because I don't need these identifiers. They're useless unless I'm querying the thing directly, but then I've got the actual thing. So some of these other things may break, but we'll figure them out as we go. But this is an example of something that's now kind of exploded into a much bigger thing than it should have been. And I've kind of lost control essentially on. So I'm just checking on dogs. Make sure they're not up to trouble. I've lost control of the amount of changes I'm making here, and that there's quite sweeping side effects to doing something like this. And with no integration tests, no unit tests around a lot of this behavior, unit test client side, integration test server side, you know, that entire thing, then this is risky what I'm doing now. Now it's only because I'm confident that I'm not going to break everything. Comfortable doing it, and I can fix everything. But yeah, this would have to be a much more refined refactor for certain. Let's restart that one. There we go. So it's actually more to do with it pulling the. So all I'm trying to do for this entire story, all I've been trying to do for the last 2 hours and the 3 or 4 hours I worked on it over the weekend is when this is subscribed, I want to show this as a solid icon. You should be able to expand out, go to attachments, go to changes. Why is that off over there? I don't know, but not worried about it right now. We've got requirements. So we are getting stuff. Now, that is a lot of work. Um, modify, create planning item subscriptions, view, to avoid, to provide link to planning item with entity subscriptions, updated scripts to drop, identifier, join, include ID. I could have fixed that, by the way, by including the planning item identifier in the new view, and they would have worked fine, and then I wouldn't have had to do all that. But I'm joining on the primary key column. I've got it available. It's not like I don't have it. So yeah, add planning item, description type, including view. It did. QL endpoint to ignore ID fields on nested objects. Okay. So now, after doing all that, it might be useless. Because what I actually want to do from it, I might not be able to. Because essentially what I'd like to do is say, um, GraphQL calculate field. Do that. So what that's suggesting is is it there? Private class resolvers. So if we do private class resolvers, public pool is subscribed, parent planning item, scope service, view DB context, DB context. Let's see if this works. I don't think we can, but Um, um, claims principal user. So then what they're doing is saying is subscribed. Is current user subscribed? I don't think this is what I want to do. That'd be awesome. Inject user, inject claims principal. Type, Boolean type. Let's just test that. What is the worst that happens? Like, I don't mind pulling the subscribers off and testing the subscribers to see, but it's a long list, right? I'd have to pull the identifier of each user down to be able to say, okay, am I in the list of subscribers for this thing? Um, now it's still a useful thing because I would have the um, I would have the ability to show who's subscribed to the thing. But let's see if this even works. Okay, let's close the builder. Now, is subscribed. Okay. Now let's put a breakpoint there. Do we have the claims principle? Afternoon, Rambling Geek. How are you doing? So we do have the claims principle. That's interesting. We got the full dependency injection. So if we do return planning item dot subscriptions dot any also feeling funky again. Oh no. S goes to S dot subscriber dot identifier equals user dot get. Is it that one that's so we don't need that. I mean, I don't know when that's going to resolve, but funky's in sick or funky's in just bleh. Not really. Not really feeling things. So cool. Now, what it doesn't do that doesn't become a part of the query. So that is manipulating that data on the way through. But I think that's okay because my head doesn't feel correct, like it's top heavy, off balance, odd feeling. Is it rainy over there? Well, I know that might be a silly question about England, but like sometimes my head will feel like that when the pressure is particularly high. But we have it subscribed. That is very cool. Okay. No worries, one line. Thank you very much for the look. Don't forget, if you haven't seen online streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There's an awesome community day on Friday. There's a great streamer. There's a lot of .NET, a lot of Blazor, but there's a lot bit more on the design side of things. I definitely can't do. Okay, so we have it is subscribed. This is fascinating. This works. This might be the coolest thing I've done in GraphQL. Yeah, like okay. No, I've done no printing for Kubernetes since the last spell. Well, don't that's gonna error because it's now it doesn't have it subscribed because I made it that way. Fresh the schema is subscribed. Nice. All that for that to go to is subscribed there. Lovely Geek, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate it. Twitch continuing to increase the prices. It's getting tighter to do that. So I appreciate that. What am I doing now? Oh, so now I have planning item if is subscribed, which is a boolean here. I just got back in from being out with Little E-Blast and now playing with GPS and microcontrollers. Nice. Have you got a week off as well? Have you got some time off? I have. The reason I'm still on is I have the week off. Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice. Do it. Nah, just when you're comfortable. Oh, no. I'll be right back. I have two dogs to go and be upset with. Right back. I thought having a toddler was about as difficult as it got when it was like, what can they get into? Two dogs, they just work together. Okay. So we're going to go to views, planning items, detail here. And right now on the detail page, we don't show, we need to start the gateway. We don't show much. So here is where I want to show it, right? So that is not on the detail version. Which is okay. The dogs wanted to get into something, so they found a toilet roll in the bathroom, knocked it off the stand, and then took it out to the hallway and chewed it. So there is a paper, the toilet everywhere. Little sneaky ones. Tell you, I did not realize just how two dogs could cause so much devastation. Like I knew this that up until about two or three, they can be quite difficult. But yeah, not realize just how bad it would be. So I don't have that in there. Where do I show it? Home, add planning item, detail, components, planning item detail. This is the actual detail panel. This is where my naming convention gets me in trouble, right? Because I don't have consistent naming on these things. Okay. We have the plan. Yeah, about 20 minutes more. So the way this is going to go is add subscribe to planning item. So, oh no. Oh no, I input the planning item. That's nice. Okay, so luckily I wrap this up in a behavior, so I can add the button into the other pages very easily. But what I need to do is in here, if planning item ID and planning item dot is subscribed, not planning item is subscribed. Is subscribed does not exist on planning item. Planning item. I beg to differ. Um, like I'm thinking eventually these icons live up here in a panel, and the title is, I mean, the title's there anyway, so I don't need the title necessarily. So I think they live up in an icon panel, but I don't really know about the UI layout. So let's go find out the one that I do subscribe to, which is title. Like I could filter them down as well. No. Introduce filtering for projects. Introduce filtering. Okay, so this one, I should not see this icon, right? So that's where that's falling down. Uh, let's do this. Planning item dot is subscribed. Is subscribed does not exist on type input signal planning item. Oh, because I'm a so that is because in the detail I pass in the item, right? Item resolve the planning item ID. So let's just do is subscribed. It's a boolean or undefined. Let's do const planning item equals this planning item this that is subscribed equals planning item that is subscribed. Let's make that. I can't make that private though. That's a weird thing there because you're using it as input. So now we can just do that. And then subscribe. And then the filter one. Shows subscribed. Okay, sweet. Okay. So if planning item ID and not is subscribed, a star ng if equals planning item ID and is subscribed, class equals cursor, pointer, lucid icon. So this is where this gets a little weird for lucid icons, is a little bit strange because the naming doesn't necessarily match, right? So message, circle, heart, right? Um, so now I need to know, there's no solid version of that, right? So do I do message circle X? Like, message circle heart. Off. Message circle off. Let's do that. So to get that in here is a little bit of a challenge because what you need to do is you need to go and add the planning module. So in planning module, do message circle off. If I could spell circle, that'd probably be better. And then we go and add that. I know that's there. And then we go and add that here. And then in that component that I happily name equals message circle off, size equals 24. Okay, so now we go back here. We click on one of these. We should have that one. And then we click on that. We should have that one. There we go. It's not good. It's not a good icon by any stretch of the imagination, but it's something that can be changed later. And now I know I can actually include that in the other page because it's a component, right? So I could go to the detail page, which is this one, and show app subscribe to planning item equal item planning item equals item. So now I should be able to click on one of these, go into detail, see the icon, click it, and yeah. But there's more to it than that. Interesting. Oh, because the API is not up. Okay, so let's stop running. So here we added a resolver. Add a resolver to indicate to provide is subscribed property GraphQL endpoint will take user check to see if. Does that mean though that I always get subscriptions? That's going to be interesting. So if I start this up, I think I will always get subscriptions now and I will not be able to avoid that join. So if I go here, right, I don't ask for subscriptions, but I do ask for is subscribed. Oh, interesting. Pretty sure the filtering one should show. Huh. Oh no, it's showing false. Okay, so that does. Huh. Name. Oh. If you don't pull the information down, you don't get it'll evaluate to false. Well, hold on, it was working. It was working on the client side. It clearly showed me what that was. Because I didn't have subscriptions in here. Subscribe false. Let's get the idea of that one. Get planning items. It's that one. Get planning item by ID. True. Okay. I'll worry about that later. Thank you very much for the follow. Boy. Interesting choice of name on Twitch. We'll take current user and check to see if the subscriptions for the Hey Sally, how you doing? Planning item containing the current user. Commit. Update planning item store model to include is subscribed the property update GraphQL. Apollonia UI is so good. Nice. Glad you like it. A lot of people do have good things to say about Apollonia. I do know that. Fanny, thank you very much. 8 months. Did you know that emperor penguins have an extraordinary reproductive cycle that spans about 8 months? Means that there could be an egg dropped by a penguin. This egg is now a grown-up emperor penguin. Nice. Nice. Well, thank you very much. GraphQL query to include for fetch one to include the and updated the item component to understand appropriately. Commit. Okay. So, bit of a review. So what I've been working on is the ability to show this icon differently based upon whether I am subscribed or not. Obviously, if I'm actually running. A few quite a lot of changes the last couple of days. Off stream. So I started the stream I mentioned that Mojo is going to be helping me a little bit with some um, building a back end for managing tenants and users, etc. And obviously, ultimately managing the entire system. Um, just Mojo's getting some experience, and um, it's a chance to work with somebody else on the project, and it's not any critical component, right? The UI, the front end of the application is the thing that matters the most at this point. Um, so bit of refactoring there. Rider has proven itself to be a pretty nice tool in this respect. So we have now broken out the core components. This foundation library is actually the shared kernel and the messaging. Those pieces would be shared with the other project. So we have a control tower, as is going to be labeled project, that's going to be the management API, the management tools. Foundation, which is the library for all the shared pieces, the messaging, the events, the commands, etc., the shared kernel components, these things that we're going to need over and over again. So all those are part of a foundation library, and now Liquid Sky is its own repository. Rider has proven itself very useful because you can actually add in multiple sources and track them. So I can include these as a solution folder to, if you check out just Liquid Sky, then Liquid Sky, this default solution is going to be broken, but you'd have to know how to set this up anyway. So you check out Foundation at the same directory level and everything's good. And now you can track changes to both, branch them both, etc. So the workflow's still a work in progress, but it is working okay. So with that done, I moved to the first story that post change, which was to indicate that the user has a subscription. So we can start to see a little bit of behavior here. And that's going to indicate, if I'm not subscribed to a thing or I am subscribed to a thing. That's interesting. That should show, that just showed. Oh, it's erroring, that's why. It is erroring. No worries. We shall stress about that later. Yeah, so that piece is now in there, so I'll give that a bit more of a test later on and get that working. But continuing to make progress on Liquid Sky. Push that branch. I don't know if GPS data. Nice. Nice. Well, if you decide to stream, definitely ping in. You can also ping in my Discord if you're interested. I'd stick out the window. Yeah, GPS data is kind of finicky internally, right? Inside. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. If you decide to stream Family Geek, drop a message in Discord. I'll definitely join. That is a good point. That is a good point. You can't replicate that. Oh. Then I need to the dog is squeaking like one of his toys. Need to do something to him. Maybe remove the squeaker or what do I know? No worries, Kenny. I'm about to disappear as well. Long stream because of day off work or week off work. All good. I appreciate you showing up at all, and I definitely appreciate the 8 months of subscription. It's most appreciated. Again, especially considering Twitch keep raising these prices. It's getting more and more expensive to subscribe to multiple streams. So I definitely appreciate it. So we'll have to figure out a way of testing the collaboration stream at some point. But yeah. Yeah, I get it. Well, I very much appreciate that. Very much so. And, yeah. Okay. Let's go see Mr. Fullbox. I know he's not doing what I'm doing, but yeah. Yeah. It's definitely more valuable to get months out if you're gonna stay subscribed. Oh, okay. Dogs must have been outside because Taylor just ran in and dropped herself below my feet. She likes laying down right at my feet. It's her favorite place. But anyway, let's go raid Mr. Fullbox. Thank you very much for joining me. I will be back tomorrow for more. Hopefully I get up on time as well because I was up late this morning, so I didn't start the stream until 7:30. But we still got 2.5 hours in, and yeah, I will be doing probably the unsubscribe side of this tomorrow, so I can toggle on and off. And then I'm thinking that I'm going to move to kind of filtering, show me the subscribed items, etc., and kind of give that a test. Just really flexing the GraphQL component before I go much further into the changes. I'm kind of procrastinating a little bit on that changes thing because it is quite a lot of work. So yeah. But anyway, let's go see Mr. Fullbots. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you again soon. Take care. I had to redo my stream deck and I didn't put the ending button on there. Ah, take care all.